Hi, I'm Tim. I'm here to show off one of my favorite commander decks, which is my commander deck is a commander sliver deck. It's really cool. It's a very aggressive deck. There are some cards in here which produces sliver tokens, which help you beef up some of your slivers. I'll just go through some of the cards right now. My commander I actually chose is a Sliver Overlord, which helps me actually to grab some of the slivers out of my deck, reveal it, and show it off, which is really cool. It gets some of my powerful slivers, like my Sliver Hive Lord right here. It gives my slivers indestructible, which is hard to really beat, which I really like, and I can beef it up. I have a Sliver Queen, which is my other powerful sliver. Makes a lot of sliver tokens, so that way, if I have a sliver here, one of my slivers that sacrifices itself, I can just keep creating slivers and just use them as sliver fodder. Some of my slivers I have, like this one here, where I can actually create my sliver tokens, sacrifice it. I can sacrifice it, and I can gain 4 life from it. What else here? Yeah.
How many total cards are in your deck?
I have 100. I have 100 total cards within my deck. I mean, that's the minimum you have to have for a commander deck. I have some commanders that beef up some of my slivers, which my Might Sliver gives me +2/+2 on my slivers. I have Bonescythe that gives me double strike, which is really nice. I have Sliver here that gives it haste. What else here? I got some really good ones, some other powerful Sliver cards like this one, which it can't be countered, which is nice when it comes to counter magic cards. I have Sliver here. Gives all my slivers flying, but also if it dies, it doesn't go to the graveyard. It actually goes back on the top of my deck, which is really nice. I have one card which is actually really good. Mainly because if I have a sliver that's being played, I get to look on top of my my opponent's deck, so I can actually make plays which are nice and help me. I have a poisonous sliver. This sliver here gives poisonous, so that way if I attack my opponent, it creates a poisonous counter. That way, if that poisonous counter goes up to 10, he loses the game, no matter if he still has 40 life or how many I have. If he has 10 poison counters, he loses the game. I have another powerful sliver, which is kind of explains it. It means it doesn't get blocked by anything, which is nice. So if I'm attacking, none of my slivers can't be blocked. I have a sliver here, which I can sacrifice it and destroy a target permanent, like a land or a artifact or another creature, which is nice. Like if I use my Sliver Queen to make tokens, I can sacrifice it using this, and I can get rid of its commander really fast. I also have another sliver that gives it Sliver Shroud, which means is it can't be targeted by abilities or by spells. Now the only difficult part about a 5-color deck is mana source. But I mean, I have Gemhide Sliver, and I also have Manaweft Sliver, which helps me get more, generate more mana of the color that I need. That's why these two are here. I also have these slivers here, which is nice, very evasive. It gives all my slivers flying. And that's basically some of my other good slivers. And I also have this sliver here, sliver cycling, which means is that I can discard that sliver, search my library for a sliver, and put it out in the field without paying for its mana cost. It's really powerful, and I really like what I have. I do have some slivers I really want to get. There is one sliver, I forget what its name is. It gives its sliver +3/+3 instead. I mean, it's one of my most powerful sliver that buffs is the +2/+2. So I'm trying to get that sliver and put this in this deck. Some of my enchantments I have, like Training Ground, it's able to lower its cost of the activated ability. I do have some slivers that have activated ability like +3, and I can get it down to +1, my mana 1 instead. I have Coat of Arms, which gives my slivers +1/+1 as well, so I can actually have a +3/+3 as well. I have Wild Pear, which which I'm able to grab more slivers out of my deck and attack with them. Animate the Dead. It's kind of really tricky. I'm still having a hard time using it, but I mean, you can pause the video and read the description. I have a hard time understanding what it says. Especially like this one, it also helps, not being counted by targets. And that's a lot of some of my stuff. Now, some of my other spells like Catastrophe helps destroy, lands and creatures. But I have to choose one, such as Wrath of God and Armageddon, which helps destroy lands and creatures, especially with this one here. It's able to destroy and exile a lot of cards. There's a lot of creatures out in the field. I'm able to destroy all of them, my opponent, and go ahead, which is really nice because if I also have my Sliver Hive Lord, which gives my Slivers indestructible, they're unaffected. It's just my opponent that's being affected, which is really nice. Ponder, which is kind of no explainer for this deck because it just lets look at my top of my card. So my artifacts I have, a lot of my artifacts generate mana because it's, like I said, it's 5 colors. So what I do is I choose a lot of the Ravnica artifacts, which help generate my mana, my color manas that I need, which is really nice. So I can just produce 2 instead of just 1. My Nivri disc, or however you pronounce it, I call it Nivri, destroys everything, creatures, artifacts, permanents, which is nice. So that stuff, and also more of these, which is nice because if I have this out and I use it, and I also have this one, it's not infected, so I can still produce mana, which is nice. Heartstone is kind of unexplained. It just helps me lower the cost of my activated abilities. Also, I just really like Soul Ring. I have to include Soul Ring. I really wish I had the Masterwork because I really like how that art looks. Also, I really wish I had like the Beta and Alpha, but those are like $300 each. But now when it comes to lands, I have lands here that help me produce mana to help me get my slivers out, especially with Cavern of Souls. Cavern of Souls is actually one of my most expensive cards in this deck. This is like this is the $50 card, and this is just one card. I do have some fetch lands out here, which helps me grab my plains, my mana sources, my basic lands. So which is nice because if I'm missing one, I can just put one of these out, use it, and just fetch my land. And plus when you're doing 5 colors, you also need tricolor lands, which help me produce all of my tricolor lands. Especially when it comes to Evolving Wilds, I need lands out really quick. I can use Evolving Lands. Commander Tower is really, really helpful because since it's a 5 color deck, it uses all 5 colors that since my Sliver has, I can just use that land. And Ancient Ziggurat just helps me with producing, mana that I need to cast. And when it comes to basic lands, I actually use 4 plains, and I actually use 6 forests because a lot of my slivers I use are actually green. So having more forests is helpful. I also have 4 mountains, 4 islands, and 4 swamps, which is very helpful. So yeah, and all in all, I really like this deck. It's really, really fun to play with. It's fun when it comes to combos and having some of the most powerful slivers I have, like Sliver Overlord and Sliver Hive Lord, which helps me, beat my opponent. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.